And here are the answers for the 712 review preview part 2. So what's the domain in the range of the entire graph of the sine of theta? So the domain is negative infinity, it's less than theta, it's less than infinity. Or you could have said all reals. 25, Antonia's friend Jessica was also on the screamer when it broke. Her seat was 65 feet above the ground. What's her seat angle of rotation? Is there more than one than possibility? So her seat above it would be sine. So we're going to do sine of theta equals 0.65. So you do the inverse sine of 0.65. And we end up with approximately 40.5 degrees. So then we would do 180 minus that. So it could also have been 139.5 degrees. Could not have been the lower one because it told you that she was above the ground. 26, Hilda was working on her homework. She completed the square. Turns out she did it wrong. Where was her incorrect answer? So it's actually at this step right here where she subtracted 16. She should have subtracted 16 times 3 because even though we're adding 16 here, we're really multiplying it by 3. So 16 times 3 is 48. So she should be subtracting 48. So at that step, we should have gotten y equals 3 groups of x minus 4 squared. 55 minus 48 is 7. So plus 7. So our correct vertex would have been 4, 7. Problem 27, Mrs. Keiss wrote the following problem on the board, told his class, no calculators, simplify, you have 60 seconds. So you have to start simplifying stuff. So I crossed out the 14ths. That would be just the 14. This would become 13. This would be 27. 13 and 13 will cancel. I'll get 2 here, 27 and 27. So I get 2 over 14, which simplifies down to 1/7. Problem 28, graph the system. So in order to graph the system, first I want to change the first equation into y equals. So I'm going to subtract x and 1 from both sides. So I get negative y is greater than or equal to 2x minus 2y minus 5. Then I add 2y to both sides, which is going to be y. So y is greater than or equal to 2x minus 5. So I have 2 equations to graph, this one and this one. So when I graph the first one, I know it's at 0, 1 is where my parabola starts. If I plug in 1, I get 1 squared times 2 is 3. 2, 3. For symmetry I have here, it's a dotted line because it's just less than. For this one, so I start at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Be right here. Up 2 over 1. It's going to be a solid line. I'll change colors. And it's greater than, and this one is less than. So I would shade all between. This part would be where my solution was. Problem 29, use your knowledge of shifting parent graphs to graph each equation below. So for the first one, my vertex is going to start at positive 3, 4. It's going to go down. And if I plugged in a positive 2, I get negative 1 or 1. Negative 2 plus 4 is 2. Symmetry would be right there. Okay. The next one, my vertex is negative 2, negative 3. Or not my vertex, it's the change in my x cubed. And I got a point to be here and here, so it's going to look like this. For C, it's absolute value, and my vertex is 5, 0. And if I was to plug in 4, I'd get negative 1 or 1 times 2. So my graph would look like that. And the last one, my starting point is at 2, negative 3. And then my graph would look like that.